Ladies and gentlemen, it's Moses, and welcome to Build Curious. Today, we are back with InZOI. The idea is to build something kind of modern and kind of a starter home. I'm not actually sure just how expensive or cheap it's going to be. And remember, if you have any ideas that you want to share, please leave them in the comments below. And if it's something I can do, I'd be happy to give it a try. But without any further delay, let's get right into it. And first things first, as always, let's box out the shape of our house. And there you have it. The basic shape is done. Man, this tree is really on my way. So I think I'm kind of happy with the shape. It's not like the most amazing thing ever, but I'm always just trying to like work around the limitations, especially with the roof, like that was really hard. I had to adjust a lot of what was going on up here just to make the roof work. But let's see the inside. So we've got our entrance here by the stairs. Yeah, then there's this large open plan area where it's going to be both the kitchen and the dining room and the living room. Yeah, all three those areas are going to somehow need to fit in here. And then we have got a laundry area over here with like a bathroom close by. And then again, the garage for the car and some storage rooms. Then on the left side, we've got our master bedroom. And then over here, we've got uh, office space. And this is supposed to be like some storage of sorts, but I'm not really so sure just yet what we're going to use this room for. We could even do like master bedroom and just another bedroom here, but we still have the upstairs space, which I have this kind of like overhang look. And over here, we still have some work to do. Like we've got this little open section here that I still have to do something with. Right now, it just leads into a box. Um, and then we've got the side over here, which will probably just be another bedroom because currently we've just got one. Maybe I'll even switch it out and make this the office. I think that's the better idea, but I'm not too sure yet. What I really want to do though is kind of, well, finish that off and do some detailing around the building. Right. And I think that is just about everything done for the shape and exterior of the house. I wasn't sure if I was going to put windows on this kind of like big area here, and this still needs to be finished, by the way. But anyways, I wasn't sure if I was going to put windows over here. I'm super on the fence about that. We'll kind of decide, I think, once I start doing the interior. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. This was definitely not what I had in mind when I started with this house. I had something modern planned, but here we are sitting with some mid-century kind of look. But I am happy with it though. This is definitely a step away from just doing modern houses, which I feel like is the easiest thing to do in InZOI right now. But it is getting a bit tiresome for me. So I'm kind of glad we went this direction. Hopefully, I can follow up with a good interior. I think what I'll do is start with the master bedroom, which is over here, and also then work our way into the ensuite bathroom. And I have a kind of walk-in cupboard here at the back. So one thing I still need to kind of figure out as well is like the color and type of wood, I guess, or just most importantly, the color that I want to use for the door frames and all the doors and stuff. I definitely don't want to use this door. It looks like an outside door or something. Yeah, so that also still kind of needs to happen. But I guess we'll just do that as we figure out the room and how we want the room to look. So let's get to it. So I realized after having recorded everything, after the little stop motion thing, I looked over and lo and behold, my microphone was on mute. So just to do that all again, and you missed some legendary jokes, by the way, like never to be heard again. But so I think this is kind of mid-century. I'm not really 100% sure. I try to kind of get it to look like that. I hope it does. Um, I think it's not too bad. So this wall was supposed to be more like a cushion kind of material. I did try the AI. It couldn't get close. So I just substituted for the tiles, I guess, which doesn't look like exactly how I wanted it to, but close enough, I guess. And this picture, by the way, is thanks to our good friend Grok. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, but he did his best, and it's not bad. He created like lots of different variations of this picture, which is not at all what I had asked for. But sometimes you get what you're given, and you just got to deal with it. And then moving on to the bathroom, I was a little bit scared of going like too crazy with the colors, but I think the sinks really scream mid-century, like 60s vibe or something like that. Personally, I think it looks very cool. So I quite like the way that turned out. And then just our bathtub and kind of open shower, as well as open toilet kind of tucked in over here. I don't know if I should have left it like open frame or if I should have put a door here, but I don't know. I thought it was cool. I don't know. What do I know? Anyway, so that's that. And I didn't include this room in the little stop motion thing because it's just really cramped and difficult angles. But yeah, I definitely think this is realistically speaking not enough storage for clothes, but it is what it is. I don't like how they kind of reuse the same items, like it's the same shoes over and over again, the same shirts over and over again, the same shirts over and over again, the same shirts over and over again. But hopefully, at some point in time, this will be a problem of the past. And the next room we're going to be doing is the study behind this door. I don't want to show you guys right now because I already started it because I didn't know I wasn't recording previously. I mean, you'll see it now pretty much as it comes. So, yeah, let's do the study next. All right, I think that turned out pretty well. It's definitely got a very old school vibe, especially with like the wood panel walls. I kind of did the same as you remember for the bedroom. This is just maybe a little bit more modern. Um, but the wood paneling here is definitely some old school vibes. Yeah, overall, I think it's pretty cool. And we are ready, in that case, to move on to the next room. And I think, to be honest, I'm just going to tackle the garage. It's going to be a fairly basic and simple room, really not much to it. Like I said before, just a car. And then just to fill out the space, because for a car, this is kind of like maybe a bit too big, just like one singular car, especially the small one that they have available. And the gym equipment here, I'm gonna try and find a purpose for these rooms. They're meant to be kind of storage rooms. But let me quickly do the garage. I'm not gonna do anything like time lapse for it or whatever, stop motion. I'm just gonna do it, show you what I got. So in that case, I will be right back. And there we go. I think it turned out a little bit better than what I was expecting. The lack of things, it really does make it difficult sometimes. And I think in this case, it turned out quite all right. I would have preferred a different car. I don't know why they chose to put this one in the game. It's not that it's like ugly or something. It's just like so weird. Why not just like a regular sedan like this one? Also, just another little storage room with some cleaning supplies. Again, nothing too wild. And then our little home workout kit. We got a humidifier or air purifier, I think, which is maybe a decent spot to have it, and a nice workbench. This is something that was in my own father's garage a lot, my grandfather's, just a place to like work with your hands, their hands, not your hands, their hands. Anyways, that's the garage done. Next up, I kind of wanted to do the laundry room, but this big room has been really daunting. And to be honest, I would kind of just like to get it out of the way because it's like staring me down and threatening me. So I would really like to just finish up this room. And that means we're going to have to do three things altogether: the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room all need to go into this area. The kitchen, I was thinking, could be somewhere over here in this area, right? Perhaps stretching a bit down to this door. I'm not sure. And the dining room kind of right next to it over here. And then the living area right next to that over here. So we'll see how it all works out. It might be a little bit big for the kitchen or like awkward because it's just going to be like one long line of counters. So I'll have to figure something out to make it look decent, but we will. And as for the floor and the walls, I am not sure, but that's also just one thing we'll figure out. I might do it either before or after. Wow, I'm being so non-specific. I don't even know what's the point of talking. So it depends. Sometimes the walls help me to figure out like how I want the counters to look, but sometimes it's vice versa. I know that's not really helping at all, but anyways, um, I'm just gonna stop talking right now and just do this because wow, maybe I should go sleep. So without any more talking, let's get down to business. And it's finally come to an end. And I have to say, the kitchen is something that probably took me longer than it should have, just because of this wall over here alone. The amount of times I changed it, like this pillar over here, and just the texture for the background, like I was struggling between like doing this wood panel kind of vibe again. And in the end, I just decided no, it's not worth it. I'm not gonna do it. It's over. So we just kind of went with something a bit more plain. And I think, you know what, that's fine. There's a lot going on in this kitchen anyway. So yeah, I went with that. And sorry if the like stop motion thing went from like night to day. Sometimes the lighting just looks a bit better in one or the other. So I kind of jump between them, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, we got this kitchen kind of like fairly open. I mean, the whole place is quite open plan here, but really long against the wall and then just kind of like a bar to break it off, which I thought was actually kind of cool. I quite like this over here. It's maybe not the best place ever, like to sit here and kind of stare at the back of the kitchen. You know, it is what it is. It's still cool to have it, I guess, but it probably could have a better location. But anyways, I really quite liked having pretty much just this table being like the only thing that separates the kitchen from the living room. It was a little bit oddly centered, but I mean, it's going to be off-centered to something, you know, either it's going to be off-centered to the kitchen or off-centered to the living room. So it was kind of those just like, you know, pick your poison. Still kind of keeps that mid-century look, but it's a little bit more modern, I think, than the rest of the house. So some things I didn't show. It is a bit bare. Please, forgive that. It really is just like a issue of not, well, being skilled enough, I guess, to make do with the small amount of items that there is. But I got this bookshelf thing under the stairs, and then just a little bit going on here at the entrance. Another thing I did finish, just completely off camera as well. So we've got our garage here, which you already saw. And over here, we've got an empty room. I hope you like that sneak peek. Um, we've got this also kind of bare bones, I guess, but like a little laundry room. Yeah, there we go. We've got all of that stuff. And we are basically done with the ground floor. Let me just drop the walls. The only thing that's left is this little room here, which I'm just going to use as a toilet. We don't have any toilets downstairs, so it would be, well, we do, but it's for the master suite. So we just need one more over here. And then that's that. I'm going to just quickly finish off this bathroom, and then we can continue with, I think, finishing off the upstairs. So I will be right back. And there you have it. That really is pretty much just all that needed to be done. Um, I don't know if you could consider this mid-century, but kind of a interesting vibe, I guess. One thing we need to change though is the door. Like it still needs to actually be this door, and so does that one. But otherwise, yeah, that's it for this bathroom. Toilet, basin, mirror. That's all that's needed down here. And then I'm going to move on to the upstairs. But first, let me actually fix these doors before I forget. All right, sorted. So now that those doors are fixed, let us go to the upstairs area. Now, I think the room I'm going to start with first is perhaps this bigger bedroom. Yeah, let's start off with this room. We'll do the bedroom, and then we can kind of move around and do all the other rooms as well. And there you have it. We are finished. So, firstly, we've got our kids' room. Nice and spacious. A lot of stuff going on, but it still looks neat. And I really like it. I ended up adding this window over here because I think it actually looks quite nice from the outside. And the room kind of looked a little bit like a dungeon, to be honest, without this window here. So, I think it looks a lot better. Onto the next room, we've got like a second bedroom, I guess. Very like light colors, uh, and not too much going on. I wish I could put more on the top of this desk, but you can't do that, which is a bit strange. But, anyways, um, so yeah, not too busy, not too cluttered, very nice. I really like this speaker. It's really nice, especially in this room. I think it works perfectly in that corner. And then on to our next room, which is the bathroom over here, which I did not do a sequence for, but it's a bit small, so wasn't really needed. It's already got nice hot water for you, so it's ready to go. And it's not as mid-century looking, I guess, as the rest of the house, but I still think it looks really nice and sleek, especially this basin. This is a really nice basin. Um, and then we've got like our nice overview. I really like this view. And then I'll connect the room, I guess. Not too much going on. I didn't feel it was necessary. It's just connecting the one room to the other. And then, as you saw in our sequence, we have this indoor studio, which I just went and kind of changed the wall a bit. I thought it looks a bit nicer. I don't like the pink guitar. You can't change it, which is weird. You can change like the drum kit color, but not the guitar. But, anyways, I thought it would be a bit more fun than just a room, another bedroom. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that. This should be pretty cool. And that, I believe, is everything in our house. So, just a quick recap of everything that we've done. We've got our garage here, our home office. This is super mid-century looking. Our dressing room, the ensuite bathroom, and of course the master bedroom itself, which also has quite a mid-century look to it. Now we've got this massive room over here, which has our kitchen, dining room, and living room all combined into one area, which I think was kind of fun to do. And let me just put the walls up so you can see. Looks really nice. It was a bit challenging with such a large wall, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's just like a nice bookcase in the nook over there. And then behind the kitchen, we've got the laundry room as well as the downstairs bathroom. Upstairs, as you saw just a moment ago, we've got the kids' room, the second bedroom, the upstairs bathroom, and studio. So, as for the outside of the house, there's not too much going on, but around the back over here, we've got this nice orange tree and then a little grill area, which I think looks really cozy. Like, this looks like such a nice place to sit down and have a grill. And as for the rest, there isn't too much going on around the back. Hopefully that will change when they start adding a few more things and it's a bit easier to decorate. But as for now, that is everything that we have got. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our accidental mid-century house. I was planning on doing something more modern, but you know what? I'm really glad we ended up doing this. It's a bit of a push to something new. I didn't want to just do modern houses and InZOI, even though it feels like that's the easier thing to do at the moment. So I'm really glad that we kind of pushed away from that. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to drop a like and leave a comment. I love engaging with you guys. And if you have any ideas for something in the future, then let me know. But that's going to be it from me for now. This is Moses, getting ready to bounce.